Hi everybody, Rob here from I Love Costa Rica. So I want to explain to you what are the most common residency applications that anyone can go through. We've been going to Costa Rica since 2004, and since 2005 we've stuck around the Tamarindo area, and we really like it down there. So a couple of years ago we decided to go visit a lawyer and consider permanent residencies. So it's something that a lot of people do, a lot of people are curious about. So I'm going to give you what I know about the situation if you're interested in pursuing residency. Now, let me say something first of all. Things may change. So this is November 2021, I think. Yeah. And I'm still in Canada. A couple of weeks from now, we are going to be flying to Costa Rica for hopefully 6 months minimum. And we're pursuing some form of residency. And I'll explain the one that we're going to be pursuing. But you should know that a lot of people go down to Costa Rica. See, you're allowed as a tourist to go down for 3 months. You get a 3-month stamp when you arrive at the airport. Now, a lot of people will stay longer. We know a lot of retired folks who are down there. They'll stay maybe 5.5 months, and they'll do what's called a border run. So they'll go on a shuttle, and there are tour companies that provide these services. They're not very expensive. It's like $70 or something. Or you get on the tour bus. They take a 2 to 3 hour drive up to the Nicaragua border. They do all the work for you, get you through the border, and you get a fresh new 90-day tourist visa. Some people have been staying in Costa Rica for years and years and years, and they do that every 3 months. And that falls in the category under perpetual tourists. Now, you should know that even though it's pretty popular, the government has been cracking down on that. And a couple of years ago, they started going after people, and they're pretty easy going about it, but they're not totally slack. So if you've been living that way as a perpetual tourist in Costa Rica, I personally know some people that's been the situation. The government says, look, come on, let me do something, or get off the pot. So I know one guy, he had a girlfriend down there. They got married. That makes him a permanent resident because she's a local tica and such. So you don't want to abuse the system. You want to be a little bit careful insofar as that's concerned. However, the number one most popular way that I know of, and my wife and I are not pursuing this avenue, but that is what's called the Pensionados. So if you have a pension plan, a certified bona fide pension plan, my wife and I are self-employed, so we have no such a thing other than the Canada pension plan, which we have not signed up for yet. But if you have a pension plan, all you need to do is prove that you have a certified pension, minimum $1,000 a month, and you're legit. You get in on the program. After a couple of years, you can reapply. I think after 3 years, you can apply for permanent residency. So, by the way, they have a socialized healthcare down there. It's very reasonable. It's called Caja. And it may not be the same wait time as we're used to in Canada and the U.S., but the quality of medical services is, I believe, on par for the most part, from what I understand. So Pensionado is probably the number one that I see the most because, well, we know a lot of people who are pensioners. So other than a lot of people who are pensioners who go down there for 4 or 5, 6 months, but they do one border run, they come back to their home country and then go back 6 months later. So the other one is called a Rentista. So you're on a fixed income. You can show that you have an income and minimum $2,500 US per month. And it's a temporary residency, and after 3 years, you can apply for permanent residency. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Oh, by the way, the government is trying to implement a couple of new ones. I know there's one that they're working on. It's been tabled, like they're working on it. Don't quote me on this. And that is the digital nomad. So if you have a job that you can prove that is online, I think the amount that you have to make is less. I'm not sure. But if you can show that you're making money and you work from home, meaning you can work from your place down there and you're not taking jobs away from the locals, That's a new one, digital nomad, and it allows you for a year, as I understand. And they're probably going to apply some sort of application process for permanent residency for those in that category too. You can also become a permanent resident, like I mentioned, by marrying somebody, or if you have a child with a local and you're the parent, that gets you in. I know a guy who that happened, and he almost got deported until he proved to the authorities that he had a child there, and boom, it was instant. He's a resident. So, okay, the other one is the one that we're going to go for. It's called Residency for Investors. Now, if you have a business or if you have a house and it's worth at least $200,000, you immediately are eligible to apply under the investor category. And that's the one that my wife and I are applying for. Our condo is worth $150,000, but don't quote me on this. This is what I've heard. You can go to the local tax office and say, your house is now worth $200,000. They'll gladly raise that because they're going to get more taxes. You know, might have to pay an extra $50, $100 a year. So that'll qualify us right away. And apparently that happens enough times, and it's totally legit. So anyways, Pensionado, Rentista, and Investor. Those are the main three, besides the marriage and having a child. Those are the main three. There's another area too where you can go down as an entrepreneur, but you'll have to look into that one. And if you have a business down there, it sounds really cool. They've added an addendum to it. And a couple years ago, the government said, you know, we've got to be a little bit, they're being careful with how many of those they are giving out, because they don't want to impede on the jobs that are available for the locals. Now, the Costa Ricans are very self-protective in that sense. I heard from a very reliable source, from a consultant from the capital of Costa Rica that I did some work with a couple of years ago. He told me a very interesting statistic. He said 80% of the business owners in Costa Rica are foreigners. Like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Tells me that the Costa Ricans are very open and welcoming, and I kind of know that from experience. They welcome businesses. You just got to follow the rules. They're kind of strict. Anything to do with the environment, they're very strict on that area, but they're very welcome to business. The number one rule that I understand that they have is that if you start a business, you have to hire locals, which is reasonable. I mean, really, makes a lot of sense. So if you're going to run a business in Costa Rica, you abide by those rules, you're in. There's a lot of opportunity down there for anybody who's ambitious and motivated and wants to make a life down there. So us personally, we have a network of friends. We have a lot of activities. We're very healthy when we're down there. We do a lot of walking, fresh air, a lot of beach time, a lot of swimming, and it's a pretty cool life. So it's a great place to be for the most part, most of the year. So those are the categories that are available to you. So I would recommend you go see a lawyer if you're interested. If you have any questions, send me an email. I'll gladly, I might have gotten a few things a little bit off here, but my wife is probably going to correct me. She'll watch this video. And I'll be doing a bunch of videos as soon as we get down there. I've got a lot of exciting ideas. So I hope you subscribe down below. And if you have any questions, send me an email. I'll put my email right in there. Or you can put your question in the comment section, and would love to hear your questions. Or if I miss something, please correct me. So, all right, guys. Thanks a lot.